And we are live, folks.
Hey,
Welcome, welcome everybody to the Horror Court. And
yes.
I'm your host, the Honorable Judge Sean Erschen, presiding. This is the People versus A Nightmare on Elm Street 4, The Dream Master.
Yes, Dream Master.
A film that isn't the most well liked in the series generally. People usually have several different issues, and a lot of people have the same issues. And we're gonna get into that. We're gonna get into all those things, and we're also gonna talk about what we like about it.
Yes.
Because me and Rob's Nightmares here, who's my special guest today. He's leading the defense for
Yes,
Elm Street Part 4. We're both fans of this film, so yeah, we're gonna talk about it.
for sure.
Go over all our likes and if there are any dislikes. I don't know if there is, but we'll find out.
Oh, hey, what's up, Thomas and Jamie?
Hey, what's up? What's going on, Thomas?
My boy Thomas.
Fellow heart movie buster in the chat.
Yes, fellow movie buster. Yes,
Yeah.
we haven't done a stream in a long time, so
You haven't?
no, it's been a while.
I missed those.
Yes.
Hey, what's up, Sean?
Hey, Sean.
Sean Blue Digital in the house. What's up?
Yes.
Thanks for joining us tonight. We're gonna have some fun.
Yes.
So, in case you guys out there aren't already subscribed to him, please subscribe to Mr. Rob's Nightmares here. I've been a big fan of him for a long time. He's got an awesome channel, incredibly knowledgeable of the horror genre, funny as hell. Like, he always makes me laugh every time I watch his videos. Uh, Very talented. Definitely check him out.
Oh, thanks.
All right, so let's get started. In at number one, it's a big one here. Does it bother you that the surviving Dream Warriors from the third film, Elm Street 3 Dream Warriors, are killed off fairly early in the film? Your thoughts, Rob?
uh, Honestly, that never bothered me. I mean, let's take a look at the surviving members. We got Kristen, Kincaid, and Joey. So out of all the Dream Warriors, we get three. And I mean, they're killed off because they're bringing new people in, and I understand that. But honestly, it just never bothered me because in my mind, I'm thinking, okay, they're killing these guys off. The fact that they're sitting there, Kristen is the one that notices it first because she has the dreams. I feel like it's a good idea to have them be like, "Oh crap, we tried to fight Freddy. We tried to bury the bones and whatever they tried to do in the last movie, and it didn't work. I mean, it obviously did not work. So I like the fact that Kristen is sitting there all depressed, smoking cigarettes, being like, we're done. Freddy's coming. He's back. I feel like they're waiting on the edge of something they can't escape from. It's inevitable, and I like the fact that Freddy wins. I mean, he basically comes back. You can't kill somebody who's already dead. That's why I thought the whole burying the bones thing was kind of, I don't know. I didn't think it really, I didn't really think it worked as well because all they did was bury the bones. That's it. Freddy's an entity, so it's like he's never going to go away
Right.
unless he gets sent to hell. So, um, I don't know. It didn't bother me. I think the Dream Warriors went out with a fight, and yeah, I mean, I guess it just didn't really bother me that much. They had their thing in the third movie, so
Right.
you know,
I didn't have a problem with it either. Like you said, I mean, Freddy lives in the dream world. How are you gonna kill him? Like
yeah,
he He's not real to begin with. He lives in the dream world.
Yes.
They may be able to take him out of the dream world and bring him into reality. Maybe you can kill him that way, but
Well,
come
that
on, you
was
can't
already
ever really kill him.
yeah, that was already done. They've already tried. Like when Nancy in the first one tried to, she realized you could do that. It's
Right,
like there's really nothing you can do. I mean, he even says in this movie, Freddy says in this movie, he says, "I am eternal," and
right.
it's true. I mean, he's eternal, but I like the fact that the Dream Warriors were so cocky and confident that they could do this, and especially Kincaid. But it's like
hmm
in this movie, you can see they're just depressed and like they don't know what to do. Uh, I just think that's a whole new ball game there. I love that. So
Yeah. I actually like the continuity of it because you really don't get a whole lot of that in some of these series. It's nice to see that they were actually continuing from the last film.
hmm
And I thought they had a decent enough arc. They kind of wrapped it up there early on, but I thought they had a nice little role in it.
yeah, yes,
Like you said, this is a new story now. They're kind of moving on to something
hmm
different, some new characters being introduced here.
right,
Um, yeah, I thought it was pretty cool. Another thing I wanted to mention that a lot of people have issue with is the way that Freddy is kind of brought back with the dog there, taking a whiz when
yeah,
it lights the
it's
fire
yeah,
and he
it's
comes
weird.
out of the ground.
Yes. Hey, Anthony. Hey, strange monkey
Hey,
lady.
what's up, man?
Yeah, with the dog peeing, and I mean, yeah, it's out of nowhere. It's just it's weird, but I thought it was kind of cool to see Freddy's bones connect, and then all of a sudden
Yeah,
he starts to like grow tissue, and thought that was pretty cool.
yeah, you could see all the muscle tone and the ligaments, and but that was pretty cool looking.
I tell you what, the whole junkyard setting really, when I was younger, because this was '88. When I was younger, the junkyard setting really bothered me because I live not too far from a junkyard, and whenever I drive past it, the first thing I think of is this movie. And it's just the setting is fantastic. I love the
Yeah,
set.
like when he throws the car and Freddy thinks he won. Yeah, like
Yeah, 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 yeah. And again, he's all cocky, like he's like, and that's Kincaid's character. But I just kind of like how Freddy just brushes it off, and you know, but
Freddy's back.
yeah, 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 that's great. Like like when he's like, "You shouldn't have buried me. I'm not dead."
Yeah,
You know,
that was
yeah,
cool.
yeah,
That made me think of that movie, that Wes Craven movie. What was it? Serpent and the Rainbow. Don't bury me. I'm not
yes,
dead.
yeah. Yeah, that's true, Thomas. Rennie Harlan did a lot of good stuff. Cliffhanger. Rennie Harlan actually did what was it called? Prison, which is a horror film that came out before. It was his first horror film he ever done was called Prison, and that had Kane Hodder in it. Uh, so he did have knowledge of horror before he did this movie. I mean, he's famous for Cliffhanger, Die Hard 2. Um, Deep Blue Sea. He did Deep Blue Sea.
Oh,
So,
nice.
yeah. Yes,
Not a
it is the
bad.
highest grossing. Yeah, that's right. Thomas is right. It is the highest grossing Elm Street film since or before Freddy vs. Jason came out.
How
So
about that, huh?
yeah, it made 49 something million. So yeah.
Hey, that ain't too shabby.
Yeah. Yep.
All right, so next up, another big point of contention with people is Kristen Parker, of course. How they switched Kristen Parker. They brought a different actress to play the role because I don't know if Patricia Arquette just didn't want to do it, or they didn't want to pay her enough, or whatever. They introduced Tuesday Night as Kristen Parker in this movie, so a lot of people don't like that. A lot of people didn't care for her portrayal.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. What do you think about that?
From what I know from interviews, Patricia said that she wanted to pursue other dramatic roles. I believe they did offer her the role, but she, like I said, she turned it down because of wanting to go do other things, even though she still says like she's a horror fan and all that. Would I have preferred her to be Kristen again? Yes. But Tuesday Night, I had no problem with her. Honestly, she didn't really do much. Like I said, she sat there depressed, smoking cigarettes, not really doing much. I mean, I can't really complain because they wanted to get rid of her character anyway to bring in a new character. So, whatever. I mean, I wonder if it would have been different if Patricia was in it, but would it really have made that much difference? I don't know. She was great in the third movie. I mean, I loved her in the third movie. Tuesday Night,
Yeah.
though, man. Tuesday Night, like I love Running from This Nightmare, the opening credits, the song that she sings. That's a fantastic song. I remember driving around in my car listening to that. Yeah, but I had no problem with it. I understand when people are like, they should have had her in it. I get it, but honestly, it just didn't bother me.
Yeah, I thought she did a fine job, like Thomas says in the chat there. I didn't have a problem with it. I do prefer, I mean, I always prefer the original cast to come back,
Yeah,
of course. I mean, it is very noticeable. I mean, she doesn't look anything like her, so it's like
exactly. Yeah, yeah.
I get why that upsets people, but I
Hmm.
thought she did a fine job, but for what she had to do, like you said, she didn't have a huge role in it, but
Yeah,
it was nice to kind of see them wrap up that part of the storyline. And
right.
yeah, I think that's our best contribution to the movies. That song, I absolutely love that song. Like you said,
But I mean,
running from this night.
if like I said, if you would have got Patricia Arquette to do the role, would they have killed her off like they did with Tuesday Night? Like, would they have written her a different way, or would they have not brought in Alice? Would they have, it's just interesting. I just think to myself, what would they have done?
Yeah,
Um, to me, it'd be kind of a waste to bring her in and then kill her off. So I don't know. It just doesn't bother me in that retrospect. So
she might
yeah,
have made the deal in the contract. Oh, you can't kill me that fast, or something. Yeah.
yeah, Thomas. Yeah, I'm jealous you got to meet her.
Oh, cool. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Getting into the next thing. Speaking of Tuesday night's song, there. What are your thoughts on the soundtrack slash score for Nightmare on Elm Street Part 4?
Okay. Out of the Nightmare movies, this is probably my favorite movie that has to deal with the soundtrack that I like. I love Dokken. The third movie has Dream Warriors, which is excellent. Um, but this movie has so many great songs. There's Drama Rama with Anything.
Hmm.
Uh, there's Tuesday Nights, of course. There's Are You Ready for Freddy by the Fat Boys, and other there's other good songs too. But Elm Street 4, man, even the instrumentals are great. Really quick story. So this is how I got in to Nightmare 4. I was really young. My brother had a pool table in the basement, and I come home one day and I hear Freddy talking. And I'm like, what is that? What is that? What is that note? Where's that coming from? My brother was downstairs playing pool, and he had a video cassette, or not a video cassette, but a cassette tape, audio cassette of the Nightmare 4 soundtrack. And he was playing Are You Ready for Freddy? He had it blasting. And I swear to God, I go down the basement and I was kind of freaked out because I heard Freddie talking, and I'm like, where? Because he talks in the song, and I'm like, where's this coming from? What's going on? And my brother's like, he's like, yeah, he's like here, and he gave me the case for it, and I was looking, I'm like, this is awesome. I'm like, oh my god, Nightmare 4, and so ever since then, I was hooked, like just on this movie and on the soundtrack. I used to listen to the Fat Boys all the time. Wasn't really much into like hip hop and rap, but I liked it because Freddie talked in it and he kind of, did his thing. So
Did he do a little rap or something?
he does like a little, yeah, he does like a little rhyme at the end and all that. But the music video is funny because it shows the Fat Boys and then it shows them going into the Elm Street house and then Freddie's chasing them and stuff like that. So that's pretty cool. But the soundtrack, yeah, I think it has more positives than negatives as far as like the songs and instrumentals. So yeah, I'd say it's my favorite soundtrack of them all.
I was just jamming that one by Sinead O'Connor. Put 'em on, put 'em on, put 'em
Put
on,
them
baby.
on, yeah. That's where what's her name, Debbie was. Was that where Debbie was working out?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
A
great.
little bit. Speaking of that, what is your favorite dream sequence in Elm Street 4?
Okay. Again, this is the. It always goes back to like what's happening in my life. So, the waterbed scene with Joey. Good nudity. That's fine. But I had a waterbed at that time, and when he is just sitting there, he's looking at the poster. Then he kind of falls asleep. He looks at the poster again, and that woman that's on the poster is gone. And she's inside the waterbed. So he moves the covers, and she's in there, like smiling at him. And then she swims off to who knows where. And I'm thinking to myself, like, oh my god! So I pulled over the covers off my waterbed, and I'm sitting there like, is Freddie gonna?
Is he gonna pop out on me?
I'm like, there's no naked woman. That would never happen to me. But knowing my luck, it'd be Freddie. But honestly, whenever the bed did this, whenever I'm in the bed and it's going like this, sloshing around, I'm like, oh god. All I could think of. That's all I could think of is the Joey dream sequence. So I love it. I love that scene, and I love Freddie when he comes up and he goes, how's this for a wet dream? Like, I thought that was actually funny.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'd say that's my favorite just because of the personal connection with, my waterbed and all that stuff. So
It's like the typical horny teenager thing too, just like with the third
yeah,
one with the nurse when he's like seeing her naked or whatever.
I thought they were going to recreate the Johnny Depp bed scene, but I'm kind of
Oh
glad they
yeah.
didn't. I'm kind of glad they didn't do it that way. There was a lot of blood in the waterbed, but it didn't go gushing, So
Yeah, I'm glad they didn't because this stands on its own,
yeah. So
Let's see. My favorites will be the one that I touched on before, the girl when she turns into the cockroach.
that is
I love that.
I didn't pick that because I picked it for something else we're talking about, but that is yes, amazing.
Like, what the hell's going on with her arm? Her arm is like
When she's like
falls off.
she's like this, and then like right here you can see it kind of split, and
Yeah.
like like
And the things grow out. I'm like, what the hell's going on?
I know, yeah.
And you see looking out into the room, like, then you realize she's in the Roach Motel.
Yes, the Roach Motel. Yeah, the
That's
effects were
probably
really
my
good.
favorite line too.
Yeah,
You can check in, but you can't check out.
that the effects were so good there, though. I mean,
That's the thing. This might have some of the best effects of the series too. Like there's nothing really that looks like campy per se. Like some of the scenes in the series don't quite hold up always, but
Yeah, that's really good. Yeah, I love the effects.
definitely. Moving on to another big part of the film. Lisa Wilcox as Alice. She's in
Yeah.
this film, and of course, Part Five, The Dream Child. She's the ends up being the final girl in this film. And what do you think of her kind of taking the movie over from Kristen and becoming the lead in the film?
um, I love Alice. She's probably my favorite. She's definitely my favorite final girl slash character in probably the franchise. And I know a lot of people are probably going to say, well, what about Nancy? Like, Heather Langenkamp is basically the prime, like she's like the Laurie Strode of, Halloween or of Nightmare on Elm Street. But
Right.
of course, she died in the third movie. But I just think that Alice is such a badass. Like she's this conservative, quiet woman at first, and then all of a sudden she turns into this force to be reckoned with. And you kind of feel sorry for her
Yeah.
in the beginning because her home life sucks. Her dad, her dad, you call this dinner? And he's like, "What am I, a rabbit?" I mean, he starts, you know, it's. I feel so bad for her. It's like she keeps all this bottled in, and then all of a sudden she, like she wants to release it. Well, I mean, Kristen was great, but honestly, I just feel like Alice is superior in my opinion. What I like, most about this movie is how they take the dead souls of, I want to say, the new Dream Warriors. I want to say that, but
Hmm.
basically Alice's friends, how she can absorb their power, and she has the brains, the brawn, the fighting skills, and I love that. That's it's like the Dream Warriors combined into one person. That's again, that's a fresh take.
Yeah.
That's a fresh take compared to what they did in the last movie. So that makes Alice again a badass. Who goes toe to toe with Freddy? She goes toe to toe with him, kicking him.
Right.
Martial arts, all that stuff. It's just a really awesome scene. I just, yeah, she's great. I can't complain about her, really.
Plus, there's a scene where Freddy says, "You got their power, and I got their souls." You know,
Yeah, and he's like, "Come on,
like,
come on," and
yeah,
and every time she's hitting him, he's laughing his ass off.
I love
she's
that.
like,
I know.
he's like, kill him.
It's
Yeah, yeah,
like,
yeah. I mean that fight scene. I always love that fight scene. It's so good.
in the church, no less.
I mean, she gets the strength from Deb. She gets the smarts from Sheila. I think that was her. Yeah, Sheila. Um, she gets the martial arts from Rick, her brother.
Hmm.
So all that, and then Kristen, of course, she's kind of like a leader, kind of like a badass herself. So it's like you combine all that into one with Alice, and it's like she absorbs all that. It's just, I love that. It's so cool.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It is cool. Another thing, I like how they kind of she starts off almost like the shy misfit kid, in a way.
Uh huh.
But
Yeah.
then by the end, she's like she's had enough.
Yes. Yeah.
Her
Really
brother's
cool.
dead. Her friends are dead. I like
Mm-hmm.
she puts her brother's bandana on her hand and stuff. They
Yeah.
show her get dressed so it's like Rambo or something. When she puts the headband on and the the spikes on her wrist.
Yep.
Like, oh shit.
That's cool. I'll give her credit for, going up against Freddy alone, even though she doesn't feel like she's alone. She feels like everyone's with her or friends, but it's like still like takes balls to go up against him like that.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, I love the way Freddy looked in this movie. I know a lot of people. I love. I think his makeup was fine.
Oh yeah.
You know, I just rewatched it. This movie not too long. Like it was probably last week, and I'm just like, there's nothing wrong with his look. You know,
Oh, not
I
at
think
all.
I
I
think it's
love the
part
makeup.
five. I think it's part five where he looks like a pizza.
Yeah. He looks like crap in part 5.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah, I think he looks. I still think he's. Well, let me get to that. I was gonna say.
Yeah.
That's my next thing. Is do you think the film went too far with Freddy and his humorous one-liners? And do you feel like he was still menacing? Was he still scary at this point in the series? And now we're in the 4th film in the series, and Freddy is like an international like icon by now. There's all kinds of toys and memorabilia about for Freddy. Is he still like scary at this point?
I believe they call this movie the MTV of the Nightmare films because it's like this is where it started to. You had humorous Freddy, you had like just the way he looked, but I don't agree with the look. Maybe his one-liners, yeah, he has a lot of that in here. He has a lot of humor. Scary. I still think there's some scary scenes in this. The whole junkyard stuff with Kincaid, I thought was pretty creepy. Um, you know, just the whole ending where the souls are trying to expel out of him. I thought that was crazy. Like
Yeah,
there's in the fight with Alice when he comes into the church and he's all like in the shadows and stuff. Like I don't know. I think there's some creepy moments in this, but I would say this would be the start of the decline of how he was once scary and now he's just funny, goofy.
yeah,
It's not on par with Freddy's dad, okay? But
no,
this might be the start. I can see how some people are just like, okay, this is where he's just goofy. But yeah, I was just gonna say that, Thomas. Yeah, Linnea Quigley was, I believe, the naked chick where you can see the boobs or
oh, let's see that one.
yeah, Linnea Quigley.
That figure shows has to be naked.
Yeah, that's kind of her trademark.
I didn't know that. Interesting fact.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool, though.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Thomas.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it's. I just think Freddy. I think actually the jokes in this movie are pretty funny. I think it actually fits.
Yeah,
But
that's the thing. Yeah, there are more one-liners and stuff, but there's some of the best in the series. That they make me laugh. Like I love it.
yeah, like when he's like to Sheila, he's like, "You want to suck face?" and he sucks the soul out of her basically. I mean,
I like we see Robert England in there for a second as a nurse.
oh
He
yeah,
was about to give a shot.
yeah. I don't know. I always laugh at I just think it's funny. They call him a martial arts enthusiast, but Rick, when he's in the garage and he's you know he's trying to do karate and stuff, it's like some of the worst karate you've ever seen. But
I know, right?
they call him an enthusiast, so he basically
Enthusiast.
wants to, yeah. So
There's a
I
big
don't know.
difference between expert and enthusiast.
I
I'm
took
like we're horror enthusiasts, so
yeah,
we're
I
not
took 2 years.
experts.
I took 2 years of karate, and it never ever looked like that. But the thing is, like, I always laugh though when Rick is always like, "Hello, baby," like he always does that. I don't know. He's kind of a funny character, I guess.
Yeah. They're one of the greatest characters in the world in this movie, aside from, like, the main people. There's a couple
Yeah,
that are, like, kinda cookie cutter.
I didn't really care for Dan that much, which was the love interest for Alice.
Oh, yeah, he was, like,
I thought
stiff.
I thought he was a little, you know, forgettable. But like if you're going to compare characters in this movie to Dream Warriors, I think Dream Warriors had better characters.
Yeah.
But this movie, I can't say that I don't really like any of them. I just think some are forgettable, but I don't know. I think some of them are unique. But you know how they labeled them, like they stereotyped them, like I said, the jock, the brain,
Yeah.
you know, they did all that so they could all be absorbed into Alice, and so she could have all the different, you know, all the different trends, you know, to fight Freddy. So I appreciate that they came up with that idea. That's just really cool, you know.
Makes a lot of sense.
Yeah,
So, uh, Harfan34 says Dream Warriors characters were equally balanced across the board. Yeah, that's true. Each
yeah,
had their own powers in the dream world. That's one thing I love about Dream Warriors.
yeah, yeah. Great move. I mean, yeah, it's you know, people are 100% correct when they say Dream Warriors is just one of the greats. I mean, it is. It's. I'm not saying it's not. So my personal favorite Nightmare movie is two. I love part two. So they call that the controversial one.
Yeah,
But
definitely. That's another one you could touch on. You could do a show like this, right?
yeah, yeah, I'd say there's a lot to say in that for that movie.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
I would agree, Thomas. I would agree on that. Elm Street 2 is the most underrated for me, too.
it is. It is. When people say, you know, go watch the first one if you want a dark Freddy. Well, the second one, I think he's even darker in the second
Right?
movie. Yeah, kills all those kids at that pool, and you know,
Absolutely. But yeah, there is maybe the one scene where I felt like, yeah, that might have been a little much, when Freddy's at the beach and he puts the sunglasses on.
oh
It's
yeah, 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 that
like,
was,
yeah, that might be a little.
yeah, yeah, it was a little cheesy.
Or they're always in the hospital and he's the doctor. What are you,
Yeah,
Dr. Seuss?
yeah, yeah. I mean, but you know,
Still,
overall,
it's funny.
I think he had a good balance here. Like, I think he was,
Yeah,
you know, he was fine. What he was doing,
yeah.
you could tell Robert England was probably having fun with it. You know,
Oh, yeah,
so
absolutely. But he was menacing enough still, he wasn't like complete camp.
yeah. I mean, I didn't find him scary at all in Freddy's Dead. Like, I thought
Right.
he was just really dumb in that movie.
Yeah.
But you know, I can't say the same here. I just think he has a balance. I mean, this cover, like, you know, that's what he looks like in the movie. I just think
Right.
he looks creepy there in ways.
Hell yeah.
You know?
He still looks awesome. Still looks scary. He's still
Yeah.
Robert Englund still kills it. He's great.
I had a crush. Well, here's the thing. I had a crush on Patricia Arquette back
Oh,
in
did
the,
you?
but I also had a crush on Tuesday Night. I'm just saying. I thought I mean, she still is. I think, you know, she's gorgeous, gorgeous woman. But
Yeah.
you know,
I can't disagree. They're both
yeah,
pretty hot.
yeah.
So it was at least I met Lisa Wilcox
Oh,
at
that's
one of
cool.
the conventions. I didn't get her autograph, but I am going to see her again in the next one I'm going to. So maybe I hope to get her autograph this time.
What would you ask her? Would you ask her anything?
mm,
Be like,
I don't know what was it like being the final girl to Elm Street films. So
Yeah.
that's
I'd be,
rare.
I'd be like, do you prefer Nightmare 4 or 5?
Yeah. That's a good question. Yeah.
Yeah.
I would imagine she probably prefers 5 because she's more of the star in that movie. Well, here
Yes.
she kind of
Yeah.
only halfway through does she become the star because at the beginning it's about Kristen. Yeah,
Yep. That's true.
it's certainly 4 is a better movie in my opinion, much better.
Oh, that's not even a question. Yeah. Yeah.
Like to me, that's the real beginning of the downfall series is 5.
I agree with you. Yeah.
That's where I check out.
Yeah, I can't watch 5. I just it's almost unwatchable.
Mm,
It's ugh,
it's rough.
it is rough.
Oh wow, I'm gonna meet Kiefer Sutherland. That's a big one.
And like it says on here too, like I didn't even know this, but it says on here on the cover, it says pure evil never really dies. And it's true.
There
Like,
you go.
you know, I mean a lot of people don't like Jason Goes to Hell, but I can appreciate that Jason in that movie is considered to be pure evil. He's basically
Hmm.
a demon spawn, until he gets sent to hell, then okay, there you go. That's it. But
Yeah, I agree, Thomas. That's true. Okay, next up, guys. What is your favorite death scene in Elm Street Part 4, The Dream Master?
mine will have to be Debbie, the cockroach. That's my favorite. And it's probably because of the creativity, the effects, um, the stuff that Freddy says. I mean, the effects are they're gross in a way, but it's
Yeah.
so good. They're so good. It's something that I would never forget. If I were to think about this movie, I would think about the cockroach scene. It's yeah, it's really good.
It sticks with you, get it?
It
Ah, ha,
yeah,
ha,
that was a good one. That was a good one.
ha. I love when she gets her face stuck in the thing when she pulls it out. Ah, stuck to the floor.
Oh yeah, oh man, that scene was hard to watch. That particular part, but when she goes like this, like oh man, and she's sitting there screaming, and she's like, oh yeah, and Freddy's just out there laughing.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, that's my favorite too. I have to agree. It's my favorite. It's my favorite line. It's my favorite dream sequence, and it's my favorite death scene. It's one of my favorite scenes in the series.
I think a lot of people would agree with you. I mean, that's you know one of the biggest things about the movie, really,
Yeah.
as far as death scenes.
Screaming Mad George. Yeah, did a great job.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
100%.
Nightmare on Elm Street 5 poster shows Freddy doing the shush sound, but it looks like he's picking his nose. Got your nose.
Freddy vs. Jason. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh.
Actually, that's probably my favorite part of 5 is the poster. I thought it looked cool.
I've always loved the Nightmare 4 poster, the junkyard.
Oh yeah.
That's really cool poster. But
A lot of them posters are really cool. Like the third
yeah,
one's cool. The original one's great.
original
I
one,
love
yeah.
even the part 2 is pretty badass too. That's pretty
That
badass.
is a good one, yeah. He sees himself in the reflection. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's cool.
Okay, so thoughts on the final battle with Alice and Freddy in the church there, and Freddy's big kind of death scene there.
Um, I'm gonna say this. I think the final battle is great, but I think the ending where Freddy dies is way better than in part three. I'm gonna say it.
Yeah.
In part three, what happens? They put the bones in the grave. They do the holy water. Freddy starts to get holes in him or whatever, and then he just disappears.
Yeah.
In this one, Alice basically shines a mirror at him. She starts to recite the Dream Master nursery rhyme, and
Hmm.
then the souls start to bust out of his body. Even the one out of his head is my favorite. When the arm comes out of his head, and he's going like this, he's doing that, and then and then once the souls come out, he just turns into like nothing. Like his sweater drops, and I love it how the souls are free and they basically, I guess, go to heaven or whatever. But if you think about it, that's what Freddy's all about. He's about collecting souls, and when he does, he
Hmm.
gets stronger. So
Right.
to me, that makes more sense than to just bury his bones and just put holy water on it and then bury it, and then okay, he's gonna rest. That to me, that just makes no sense. I think it's better as an entity or a demon or whatever he is. This is his job, is to collect souls and become stronger. And now that they're free, he's nothing. So I don't know, man. I think the ending to this is 100 times better than the ending the third one. I might receive some hate for that, but I'm just being honest. You know,
I agree. I completely agree. And the effects are great too when they're coming out of his body,
yes,
the souls are trying to get out. And they're
yes, yeah,
grabbing at him, and it looks awesome.
yeah. Like I said, the one in the head that always gets me. The arm comes out, and he's like, he's trying to move.
And then the one grabs him by the
Oh yeah,
see
rips
the
his
little
jaw
arm
off.
come out
Yeah,
and rip his
yeah,
face apart and shit.
yes. Oh hey, Jen's reviews from the grave. What's
What's
up?
up, Jen? How you doing?
Dream
My
Master and
cohort
Dream.
from the Horror Hangout live stream.
Yeah, I don't hate
Yeah, I
Dream
agree.
Child. I don't hate Dream Child. I just don't. I kind of get bored with it. I just don't really care for it that much. But I definitely don't hate it.
Yeah. It had some potential for me. I do like the way it begins, kind of very dark with the
Yeah,
mother and Amanda and the thousand maniacs and the prison. I was like,
yeah,
wow, they really could have did something with that, but I felt like they didn't take it far enough.
yeah.
It
It could
should
have
have been
been
more
better.
focused on that.
Yeah, with the idea with the child and everything, they could have. I think they could have done more with that, a little bit more.
Yeah.
But this film, I definitely agree. This film gets way too much hate, and if you think about it all around, it's it makes sense. I mean, the not the hate, but I'm saying like the film itself makes sense, except for the like I said, the dog peeing and whatever. That's that's just weird, but I still think the resurrection of Freddy, as far as like he's never dead, makes sense, and the Dream Warriors lose. So
Yeah.
I like when the villain wins. Would never do we ever have. It's kind of rare when the villain actually wins.
Right.
Which is why I liked Infinity War, Avengers Infinity War. Thanos actually won. He won.
Oh yes, me too. I love that movie.
Yeah. So, you know,
Yeah, I have to agree on that. But yeah, it all makes sense. Everything makes sense. I like the story in this movie. You know,
exactly. Yeah. It's a
I
good
like the
story.
continuity from part three. I like how they wrap that up and they just kind of started something new with Alice and they continue that off into five.
Right.
has good continuity. You don't get that in a lot of franchises, really, like Halloween, Friday, and stuff. Sometimes
That's
they go
that's
off the rails, you know.
that's why I think when going back to it, Patricia Arquette being in this movie wouldn't have even mattered, because if
Yeah,
I mean, it just depends if they would have changed the story up to have her survive. But would they have done that? I don't know. It just,
yeah.
you know,
There's a similar beef with Halloween 5. You know how they brought Rachel back and they kill her
yes,
off kind of early on. You know, that pisses people off. You
right. Yeah, I mean, it sucks that they had to kill off Ellie Cornell, but you know, whatever.
know. All right. So, with that being said, what are your final thoughts on A Nightmare on Elm Street Part 4, The Dream Master, and kind of where do you kind of rank it in the series against all the others? You know.
Okay, well, first I just want to say this. If you have not seen this movie, which I can't imagine anybody not seeing it, but I would say don't listen to people who hate it. Go and see it yourself, or just watch it yourself. You know, I there's been movies before where I've really hated them when I was younger or whatever. Halloween 3. That's you know, and then I come back and I sit down and have an open mind and watch it, and then I find out, you know what? It's not as bad as I think. I mean, I never thought about that in this movie. I'm just saying, people out there who really hate this movie, just take a look, another look. You know, take a look at it and um, watch it as a whole. You know, it's with all the points we've made, I feel like it's a decent sequel. Um, and where it ranks, my favorite is 2. So for me, it would go 2, 1, 3, and 4. This would rank number 4 for me, because the other ones are just so good, you
Yeah.
know. Um, but again, that doesn't mean that I dislike it at all. It just means that the others are a little better. Um, the first 3. So,
Yeah.
but there are people who rank this like last. Like, there are people who rank this, I think, even lower than Dream Child,
Oh, come
or,
on.
or even Freddy's Dead.
Ow.
You know, I think that's pretty harsh, but I don't think it's that bad. I mean,
Wow, it's Thomas's favorite, huh?
yes, this is his favorite. And you rarely hear that. I mean, that's
Yeah,
really interesting to hear, you know.
nice.
T Bob says Elm Street 3 is the best. I mean, you know what? And like, I've said this. You ask somebody who what's their favorite nightmare film? It's either the first or the third one. That's it. You never hear other than that.
That's
It's
true.
never to this day have I ever heard someone say Freddy's Dead's the best. You know, I think hell would freeze over
Yeah,
if I.
yeah, I haven't heard that one. I don't think I've ever
Yeah,
heard that one.
it's like saying Jaws: The Revenge is the best. You know?
I'd have to question your sanity if someone that thinks that.
Yeah.
I'm like, is there an opening at the sanitarium? I think we need to move this guy in.
But like, I would just say, like, watch this. Like I said, Alice, she's such a badass character. She's a good fit into this series. I think, a good replacement for Kristen. And I know a lot of fans of Kristen from the third movie, but they're bringing in new characters, doing new things. I like the story about how Alice takes all the souls in and does her. It's like good versus evil. Freddy does it, for evil. He gets all the souls to be powerful to do his thing, but Alice gets the souls to basically do good. So it's good versus evil. I like that. Um, it's something fresh and inventive from the other ones, and you know, I don't know. I think it's just really good. It's a really good sequel. I don't think it deserves the hate. So
Yeah. I think even though Nancy is probably my favorite final girl, I do love how Alice just takes him on like head on, you know.
Yeah,
I
I
think
mean
she's
Nancy had her own way to take him on,
yeah,
and I mean that's Nancy's great. So you know,
but I like how Alice just steps up and takes him on like physically, you know, and fights him, and
yeah,
pretty awesome, pretty badass.
I've always
The
wanted to see I've always wanted to see Freddy fight. I mean,
mhm,
and the thing is, you don't really get to see him fight too much. I mean, when Freddy vs. Jason came out, he was that was a huge. There was like a couple fights in that, but it's like that's why I like this movie because he
yeah,
actually fights in a pretty kind of a long. It's not really long, but it's it's a decent amount of time that he fights. So that's cool.
that was great to see. Yeah. So yeah, where this one ranks for me, I would also say four, but a little bit of different for me. I go the original, part three, part two, and then part four. Kind
Okay. Yeah,
of jumbled,
ours
but
is
yeah.
almost the same, just a little switched around. I mean, I'm
Hmm.
glad to see that you like two because that's another one. Like you said, it's kind of controversial, but
Yeah.
um,
Oh, I love two. Yeah, for sure.
I mean, it's not like I go on my bed and start dancing on my bed. You know,
That scene, it's not my favorite, but
my my kids would walk in and be like, "What the hell are you doing?"
bump the drawer with your ass.
Yeah, bump the drawer with my ass
Put on
and
the sunglasses.
yeah, start. You know, yeah, that seems a little wacky, but you know,
How many people do you think ask him, do the dance, do the dance? You know,
yeah.
Mark Patton,
Oh God.
do the screen, do the screen. Ah!
Everything's melting in my room
Yeah.
because it's so hot in here. Oh God.
But
Let's
yeah,
see.
guys, I think we made our point, and that is basically to check this one out, give it another shot. It deserves another look. I think it's a really solid sequel in the franchise, man. It's pretty damn good. I enjoy this one, so don't get the hate.
Yeah,
Give it a
yeah.
chance.
Give it a chance. Heck yeah.
That's the final verdict.
Girl.
So, Rob, anything you got coming up down the pipeline you want to plug here?
Um, no, and not really. Just kind of doing videos here and there. It's kind of hard for me to do videos because of I got three kids, a new baby girl and all that, and my full time job. So I'm just kind of doing it as I go. But I'm still making videos, so a little bit at a time. So if you guys want to subscribe, feel free. No pressure. But I do a lot of horror. I'm going to be doing a lot more horror stuff, but um, I kind of do things all around. I might talk about some action films. I might talk about something else. But horror is my main thing. I do want to start streaming too a little bit, like doing
Yeah.
my own streams and stuff. So I don't know, I'm just gonna get back
Well,
into it a little bit.
well, it's been awesome having you. So definitely thanks for coming on, man.
Yeah, I do. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah. And thanks everyone watching out in the chat. Thanks for watching the show. Had a great time.
Yes.
And we'll see you soon.
All
Have a
right.
great night. Peace
See
out,
ya.
brother. Bye.
Is it still live or?